Welcome to Hell's Lockup. Name's Duncan Kramer, Senior Containment Officer and Hourly Patrol Lead. You're my new partner now that Halverson finally retired. That man was about 97% nicotine and bad knees by the end of it. Good guard, though. Never blinked at a banshee screaming in his ear. Just told her to keep it down and finished his paperwork. Anyway, welcome to your new home. That lift behind us? That's the only way in or out without clearance from command. You live here now, same as me. Bunks are through that security door. Don't personalize them too much. People don't tend to last long enough for houseplants. Mess hall's open 24/7. Don't eat anything labeled with a red tag unless you want your bones to itch. Someone from lab keeps mixing up staff food with subject nutrition packs. We patrol once an hour on the hour. Doesn't matter if it's Christmas, your birthday, or the end of the world. Creatures don't take holidays, so neither do we. Right then, let's start the tour. All right, this is us. Level 1, Science Division. Where they figure out what something is before we figure out how to keep it from killing everyone. Come on, stick close. The air's different down here. You'll feel it in a second. See? Bit warmer, bit damp. That's the biocontainment climate control. Some of the stuff they keep down here wilts, rots, or explodes if the humidity's wrong. It also stops certain spores getting airborne if something breaks loose. You'll smell antiseptic and wet dirt most of the time if that's the case. Don't touch the walls either, not because they're dangerous anymore, because half of them used to be. Badge in here. Yeah, like that. Always log your entry on this floor. If you vanish, they like to know roughly which nightmare ate you. Right. First stop. In here, that's Ramsey. Looks like a cat, I know. Everyone says that. Then it turns its head and you see the horns. Yeah, those are real. Bone growths, curved back like a ram's. Don't get too close to the glass. It doesn't like strangers. Next stop. Inside this unit is a new discovery. They are classifying it as spirit, but I don't know, it looks physical enough to me. He's looking at you now, see? I know he just looks like a man, right? Telekinetic, mildly hex-active, can move small objects without touching them. That clipboard on the table? Watch. Now there, told you. Didn't even look at it. Just knocked it off out of spite. Does that a lot. Eats raw liver mostly. Escaped twice in its first week and spent an afternoon sitting in a ceiling vent hissing at people. Oh, and whatever you do, don't wink at it. We had a guard do that last week. Thing followed him for 3 days, just appearing behind him in reflections. Right. Moving on. This one's botanical containment. Try not to breathe too deep. They keep this room humid. Yeah, it looks like a plant. It isn't. Watch that vine on the left. See it moving? That's not air current. Carnivorous mobile flora they pulled out of a sinkhole. Moves about a foot a minute when nobody's watching. Faster if it smells blood. Likes classical music for some reason. Hates jazz. Don't ask me why. See that rat it's dragging into itself? Yeah, that was alive earlier. Don't turn your back on it if the door's ever open. It understands what that means. All right, next one. You'll hear these before you see them. Mutated sewer rats, contaminated by something that leaked a few years back. Now they've got extra limbs, patchy skin, split skulls. Take your pick. That one there's got 2 heads. They fight over food. And that one? Yeah, the one standing up looking at us? That one knows my patrol route. I swear to God. They can open simple latches too, so always double-check the secondary locks when you pass through here. Right, last stop before we head back. That tank there? Full of suspension medium. It's pink because oxygen doesn't bind properly in normal water for this one. Yeah, there it is. Humanoid shape, fluorescent blue scales, webbed hands, gills on the neck. A marine hybrid they dragged up in a trawler net out in the North Sea. And that woman in the side chamber is Dr. Vale. Dr. Vale, still alive in there?
For now.
That's usually a good sign. Keep your voice down. It reacts to vibration. They say it sang to the fishermen before it got caught. Half the crew tried to cut the net open to let it go. Other half tried to jump in after it. See? Eyes just opened. Don't step closer. It recognizes faces. Pressed its hand up against the glass at me once and didn't blink for 10 minutes straight. Dreams were weird for a week after that. The thing dries out in open air and gets aggressive if it does. That's why it stays in the tank. All right, that's enough of that. There's others, but those are the main ones to keep an eye on. Back to the lift then. Level 1's mostly observation and experimentation. Nothing down here's meant to be uncontainable. Not yet, anyway. If they get it wrong, it ends up on levels 2 through 4 for us to babysit. And if it's too bad to keep in a cell down there, well, that's what the pit's for. Patrol always keeps moving. You'll feel the temperature change before the doors open. Level 2, lower containment. This is where teeth and bad attitudes start. The corridor out here is wider than the lab floor. Bars instead of full glass in some sections. Heavy reinforced doors in others. The lighting is harsher, less clinical, more prison block. You'll notice the smell? Wet fur, iron, and whatever they're feeding them this week. Level 2 holds mutant animals, beast folk criminals, and smaller cryptids. Most of them can think. Some of them can talk. A few of them can lie better than most politicians. You better stay close. Keep your hands away from the bars, and if anything offers you a deal, you say no. This guy used to be a dog. See how it paces in tight circles. Its spine arches too high, vertebrae pronounced beneath patchy fur, one extra foreleg sprouting from its chest, dragging slightly as it walks. Its jaw unhinges a little too far when it pants. Exposure case. Picked it up near an old spill site. Still loyal, apparently. Tried to protect the family that owned it, even after it changed. Don't mistake any of these animals for harmless. It can chew through steel mesh if agitated. Let's move on. Now, this cell holds a strange one. See its deer-like shape with branching antlers that seem to twist in unnatural spirals. Its hide shifts color slightly as it breathes as well. Mottled grays to bruised purples. That one phases. Not fully. Just enough that bullets don't always agree with it. Now it's looking at me. Yeah, I see you too. All right, now this is where it's getting noisy. The Beast Folk cell block. This lot are the troublemakers. In this thick-barred cell, we have a pigman, nearly 7 feet tall, bristled hide. Tusks curve up past a flattened snout. Scars crisscross his chest and arms. Name's Garrick, rebel leader. 13 confirmed murders during a rural uprising before we brought him in. He's judging you. Don't show fear. He respects strength, hates weakness. Bad news, but contained. Next. See this large reinforced cell lined with insulated plating? That's for the Yeti. Yep, a real Yeti. White matted fur, long arms hanging nearly to the floor. They captured him in a mountain raid. It took out a convoy. Strong as a forklift and twice as stubborn. You can see the intelligence in its eyes, but don't stare into them. It takes it as a challenge. Don't antagonize it. He remembers faces too. You hear that? That's claws scraping on metal. Next we have Raptormorph. Lean, muscular, scaled hide stretching tight over a predatory frame, long tail flicking behind it. His hands end in curved talons, a narrow reptilian head, and jaws lined with serrated teeth. It moves fast, real fast. See it slamming against the inner barrier? That's a reinforced shield. He's going nowhere. See it flare briefly when he hits it? It's useless. Joined the same rebel group as Pigman. Killed 4 officers before we got a collar on him. It can speak, just chooses not to. There's plenty more. Bloodhorn, the Fang of Franklin, and Bear Griller. You'll get to see them all over time anyway, if that's what you want. We don't have time to check them all out in one run, otherwise we'll never get done. Moving out of the cell block now. Next we have goblin-like creatures. They're always muttering to themselves. Petty theft, arson, ritual trespass. This floor's like county jail for the unnatural. That one there? An ordinary-looking man, right? Skinwalker. Don't smile back, he likes it. Can copy voices, mannerisms, faces. Watch. For just a second, his eyes darken, then his features ripple, subtly, like something trying on a mask from the inside. You ever hear me call your name from somewhere I'm not? You check with a mirror first. He's locked in a rotational sigil cell. Can't shift fully in there, but it tries. This one? I know this furry little fellow doesn't look like much, but trust me, this one is a handful. Forest Brownie, Master Lockpick. 'Tis one little creature robbed over 500 properties that we know of. It took them months to track him down and capture him. He escaped the first 3 times they confronted him. Always check his containment unit. Every round, he's escaped dozens of times. Never makes it out, though. None of them ever do. Level 2's manageable. They're dangerous on this floor, sure. Murderers, rebels, unstable mutations. But they bleed, they break. They can be reasoned with. Sometimes. What time is it? Hourly patrols are about presence. Let them know we're here. Let them know someone's watching. To the lift, then. Level 3's worse. It takes longer to get to floor 3. Bigger cells on this one. You can feel it in your stomach a little. The pressure change. Here we are. Level 3. The air down here is colder. Not artificially like the Yeti's cell, just cold. Like the heat gets swallowed before it settles. The corridor is broader than level 2, but the doors are thicker. No bars here. Everything is sealed. Observation slits instead of windows. Reinforced blast shutters built into the ceiling. This floor is where the body count starts getting uncomfortable. These guys are creatures you do not want to meet. These aren't petty criminals or exposure cases. These are the things that wiped out settlements, flattened caravans, took military units apart, and left nothing behind but boots. Inside this, dimly lit enclosure, for instance, sits a massive figure. Humanoid, broad as a truck, leathery skin stretching over slabs of muscle. One huge eye sitting in the center of its skull, milky with age but still alert. Thick ropes of scar tissue runs across its chest and arms. Yep, it's a cyclops. See it sitting cross-legged, slowly tying something together with that length of rope? Don't let the size fool you. That one didn't just smash things. He set traps around a mountain pass that held up an entire army advance. Pitfalls, deadfalls, spike lines, and snares. Took months to clear them all out. Hundreds dead before anyone even saw him. Still tries to build them. We have to let him, because it keeps him calm. You don't want to see what happens when these guys get riled up. Trust me. Oh, come over here. Now the enclosure beyond is huge, and it's reinforced with layered steel plates. Can you see those deep gouge marks in the interior walls? Those are from some big claws. There he is. Look, moving inside the shadows. He's about 25 feet tall, long-limbed. His skin is dark and coarse, stretched tight across a ripped body structure. Long arms hang down past its knees, ending in thick, clawed hands. His mouth is wide, with thick lips, and filled with blunt, crushing teeth. He's an African troll. Name's Gherkin. I know, ridiculous name, but there you go. An entire village disappeared. No survivors. We found bone fragments in its den. Eats everything, even clothes. Doesn't waste. Been down here since before your predecessor could remember. He's one of the old-timers, as they call them, the ones who've been here the longest. This next door is marked with 3 hazard sigils, see? Inside is something enormous, not as big as the troll, but still very big. Red-skinned, muscles like siege engines. Check out the tusks jutting from its lower jaw. Its armor is hammered metal, strapped across its chest and shoulders. That is a high orc, bone saw he calls himself. Cannibals, these guys. They even eat other orcs. This one used to rule an underground city, ate his enemies to absorb their strength, or so he claimed. They captured him during the war down there. Took 6 super soldiers to finally bring him in. You'll hear it laughing sometimes. Take no notice. Usually just means it's remembering something. Okay, this next one is a right grumpy fellow usually. When he's awake, that is. Today, he's asleep by the looks of it. That, my friend, is a giant. Easily 20 feet tall, even hunched over. Its skin is pale and his hair red. His name is Balder. Giants are not the brightest of creatures. This one took over a town up north. Just walked in one morning and stayed. Anyone who tried to leave didn't make it past the main road. Didn't even understand what it was doing wrong, apparently, as if destroying towns and eating people was nothing special to it. This one has no viewing port, just a thick reinforced glass panel, layered and etched with containment sigils. Inside the vast chamber beyond lies something coiled, scaled, and ancient. A dragon. See its wings folded tight against its body, tail curled around itself, horned head resting atop its forelimbs. It sleeps, slowly, deeply. Each breath sends a faint plume of smoke curling from its nostrils. A living furnace. Hasn't woken up in 19 years, and probably won't for another 19. I've never seen it move, so I wouldn't worry too much about this one. Hundreds of years ago, it devoured entire battalions. Thousands of men gone in days. It flew from castle to castle, raining fire on all who stood against it. Whole kingdoms tried to bring it down, but it was eventually captured by a tricky old wizard. We just keep it comfortable. In my opinion, it's best if it just keeps snoring. Not all the inmates on this level are gigantic. Take this one. I know it looks like a blonde woman, but it's not. The Mimic. No taller than a man, we think. Nobody actually knows its true identity. It can become any person it's seen at will. It can even change into animals. Anything of similar size to a human in mass, actually. It's fairly docile, but it does freak you out when you see it as someone you know. Even more when it looks like you. Not sure who it's posing as right now. Maybe a tech or a doctor. I don't recognize the face. This guy's not a murderer or anything. However, he used his skills to rob millions of dollars and imprison over 100 individuals for crimes that he committed before he was sussed out. Then, it took them years to catch up with him and finally corner him so he couldn't just switch how he looked and vanish again. And that's why he's down here with all the big boys. Level 3 is where we keep the big guys and the big criminals. Things that can't be reasoned with, can't be bargained with, can't be let out. There's some pretty nasty customers on this level, but level 4 is worse, much worse. 4 is what we call the darkness. That's where we keep anything that's dead, or undead, and the dead. I know it sounds confusing, but you'll see. Run your card and we can go down. Fantastic. You could call it a paranormal floor, I suppose. Me, I call it like it is. Spooky as hell. You'll feel it straight away. The temperature drop even more than it already has. Chills will likely start running down your spine at some point as well. It happens to us all down there. Just remember these 2 things when we get there. Don't make eye contact, and don't get too close to the viewing glass. Stick to that, and you should be fine. Here we are. You notice it straight away, don't you? The feeling. Yeah, everyone feels that the first time they come down here. It's colder here. Not physically. The temperature gauge on the wall reads the same as level 3, but the air feels thin. The lights are softer, whiter too. The walls aren't barred concrete anymore. They're smooth composite panels laced with sigils and containment circuitry. Now, this floor's less prison, more laboratory containment site. Undead, spectral, demonic, things that don't stay dead or were never alive to begin with. This is where we dump them. Inside cell number 1. See that man, seated in what looks more like a reinforced medical restraint chair than a cell fixture? He's not a man. Look closer. Notice the pale skin stretched tight over sharp cheekbones, long dark hair pulled back neatly. His clothes are old, ancient in style, but pristine. His eyes are closed, hands folded in his lap. He looks peaceful, right? Vampire Elder. Name's Osmosis. Older than recorded civilization. Estimated to be at least 15,000 years old, according to lab studies. Watch his eyes opening. Completely black, like a shark's. That there is a seasoned, cold-hearted predator. He doesn't speak much, doesn't need to. Last time it was loose, it depopulated a city over the course of a month. I know, he's smiling at us. Creepy, isn't it? Don't smile back. Never smile back. They take that as permission. There's plenty of vampires down here. They're about 40% of this floor's population. We've got everything from pure bloodlords to freakishly ugly abominations. Take this guy. Yes, he looks asleep, but look how bloated he is. You see those drips feeding him from blood bags. That's how we keep him dormant. Blood addiction. If he wakes up, he will rampage until he feeds. That's not a good situation. His blood is acid. One drop could melt this glass. So we keep him on a constant drip, and he stays in this self-induced coma. This chamber is reinforced with layered silver mesh between the panels. Inside, pacing in slow, deliberate circles, is a lichen pack lord, still in a vaguely humanoid posture. Barely. Thick fur runs down its spine and arms. Its muzzle is elongated and filled with yellowed fangs, but still noticeably manlike. He's the only survivor of a military engagement after the pack rampaged through farmland communities for 3 nights straight. Pack got wiped out. It didn't. It can hear every word we say, even through the glass. You'll hear it howling sometimes. Howling for freedom, most likely. Occasionally, you'll find it as a tall, dark man with a beard. He always hums when in human form. Not sure why, but it's the same tune every time. It looks even creepier down this way. The lights dim further ahead. You see that woman standing in the center of the chamber, with her back turned, long dark hair hanging down her back, damp and tangled. She's wearing what looks like an old mourning dress, faded with age. She rarely moves. This one's simple. It's a banshee. She took residence in an abandoned manor 12 years ago. People started dying in their sleep. Heart failure, brain hemorrhages. The owners found them with blood from their ears. Oh, look, she knows we're talking about her. She's opening her mouth to scream, but no sound comes out. It's soundproofed for a reason. The first unit she was in wasn't good enough. 3 guards had blackouts before they realized it was her doing. Now this next one is disgusting. The chamber smells faintly of rot even through the sealed door. Can you smell it? Told you. It's nasty, isn't it? The creature you see crouching at the back of this chamber is a Wendigo. It looks starved, yet it gets fresh meat daily. Its skin is stretched tight over bone, fingers elongated into hooked claws. Antlers sprout from its skull, scraping faintly against the ceiling when it moves. Watch its mouth, hanging open just slightly too wide, and those white, lifeless eyes. The bloody thing gives me the heebie-jeebies. It never blinks. It doesn't breathe either. It just watches from the shadows. Mountain disappearance case. A couple of search teams went missing looking for missing hikers. Then their rescue teams also went missing. In the end, the 2nd Special Attack Unit managed to capture it. The first team didn't make it. Doesn't eat because it's hungry. Eats because it remembers what it was like it's craving the taste but has no tongue. This floor messes with your head. You start hearing things that aren't there, seeing people who aren't here. You start hearing whispers in the corridor behind you. If you ever think something followed you off this level, tell me before you go to sleep. That's an order. This way next. Demonic entity containment. I know, it just keeps getting better. You can tell you're there before you see anything. The walls change again here. Layered plating with engraved wards running in overlapping rings. Small brass insets every few feet hum faintly with contained energy. The lighting is dimmer here as well. That's deliberate. Everything in this wing either doesn't follow physical laws or cheats. Here, take a look through this reinforced viewing pane. Inside the chamber, there's nothing, just darkness, right? Wrong. That darkness isn't a shadow. Keep watching, you'll see it shift. There, see the black smoke coiling upward from the center of the containment circle. It doesn't rise naturally. It twists, folds into itself, contracts and expands like breathing lungs. You hear those cracks of static popping inside the chamber? Demonic entity. Classification redacted. If it gets close enough to the glass, you can see it properly. Electricity crawls across its surface like lightning trapped in storm clouds. It has a psychogenic influence. Makes people unravel. Hallucinations, paranoia, compulsions. Over a few weeks, it convinced an entire town to take their own lives. There, you can see all the sparks now. Did you see that? For just a second, something like a face pressed out of it. That's a first. But I don't usually take this much notice. You're not allowed its name and you don't want it anyway. Demon names have power. This one's, if said incorrectly, can give him rights over you, or rather, your sanity. I'm sure you don't want that. So moving on. The next chamber is somewhat greener. Contained within this glass house is what looks like a small patch of forest. Soil, moss, a few shallow-rooted trees under artificial light. At first, you don't see anything, do you? Until one of the trees moves. I can't even see it myself. I'll have to describe it for now. It hates being talked about, so that might draw him out. This is what happens when it decides to wake up. The bark splits, not breaking, just opening. Limbs draw inward, branches twist and fold like muscle. Then a shape steps free from the trunk. Tall, gangly, humanoid but not. Its limbs made of living wood and bark, its face smooth and featureless until it chooses to grow one. It's a nature spirit. It sleeps all the time, just climbs onto a tree and merges with it. You can't see him at all as soon as he stops still, as if he becomes the tree itself. It's been around longer than written language, they say. Lured travelers into forests for thousands of years. There's records, old ones, of people walking into the woods and never coming out. What happened to them, you ask? Nobody knows. None have ever been recovered, and he ain't saying nothing. Never does. Interrogation's a waste of time. It never speaks. It sees us as inferior creatures, or at least that's the impression he gives off. Coming to the end now, but we have one last stop before we leave. This chamber is massive, a vast open cavern. See how mist swirls across the floor, that black oily vapor that never seems to settle. That's not us doing that, it just emanates from his body. There he is in the corner, all 12 feet of him. Tall enough that his ram horns nearly scrape the top of the enclosure. They curl back from its skull. Its lower half ends in thick goat-like legs with cloven hooves planted in scorched stone. Its upper body is humanoid, muscular, bare-chested, and extremely hairy. Its face, half human, half goat. Look, a long snout split by human-like cheekbones, burning eyes set deep but familiar. See the fire? It can spew that from its mouth and nose. That one walked into a Roman stronghold alone. 5,000 soldiers were stationed there. Didn't make a difference. No siege engines, no army, just this demon. It chewed through them all like it had purpose. He's usually just standing in the shadows or pacing around the chamber looking annoyed. Demons don't always look like demons, but sometimes the ones that do are the easiest to deal with. Come on, let's get off this floor and get to the main event, the pit. I know you're dying to see it. All the new recruits are. Honestly, you can barely see anything on the tour. Most people don't see much more than shadows, but occasionally, someone does spot one of the monstrosities down there. Whatever, it's overrated in my opinion, but we're going anyway. It's much brighter down here. You'll see when the door opens. After level 4, it's almost blinding. Here we are, floor 5, if you can call it that. It's less a corridor and more a cavern. The walls are rough, carved straight from bedrock, but the floor's been leveled and reinforced with metal plating. Floodlights are bolted into the stone ceiling, bathing the whole space in sterile white light. And in the center is the hatch. It's enormous, isn't it? Circular, easily 50 meters across. Layered blast plates locked together with hydraulic clamps thicker than your torso. Warning sigils etched into the seams between metal segments. That is how things go into the pit. When we get something that won't hold on 3 or 4, or something Command decides shouldn't be anywhere else in the facility, we open that. Take a look around the cavern. All the banks of consoles, personnel sitting at them, technicians, analysts, guards, watching flickering monitors or scrolling through scan readouts. This is Henry. If you ever want to take the tour down here, Henry is the man to see.
New partner?
Yeah, just showing him the basics.
You're just in time for the interesting part then. Take a seat, and I'll show you how it works. Tour drones are the only way to view inside the pit. We can't send people down there, not safely, and all the surveillance equipment we've put in there has been destroyed. So we have drones. Camera movement's manual, but the route's automated. Keeps them from wandering too close to anything.
Tell him how far down?
100 meters. When the hatch opens, a platform lift drops whatever we're sending straight to the pit floor.
And nothing's ever come back up?
Nope. You want to take a look?
Go on. Welcome to the part of the job nobody talks about.
The left stick controls the camera rotations, and the right one is basically a drive stick. Just push it forwards to move on. Back if you want to stop. There's no reverse. It's one round route, so don't worry about getting lost down there. Take a moment to get used to the camera function, and I'll release the clamps.
Has there been any new additions lately?
Nah. The last one was that rabid chimera 3 weeks back. Doubt it's still alive down there now, though.
Before he sets you loose, I should warn you, we don't actually know what's still down the pit. Hundreds of big, vicious creatures have been dropped in there since it opened in 1980, and it's not like they're going to be best buddies, is it?
He's right. It's survival of the fittest in the pit. It's a monster-eat-monster world down there. The place is huge, but not that huge they'll never meet. All right, easy on the stick. Route's preset. You're just guiding the head. Dropping you down now. Great, now, just ease the stick forward, and off we go. This is the pit. Keep her steady. The drone will just glide forward if you let it. Never-ending cavern. Scanners can't reach the back wall. The drone's lights can't barely see anything in here. Something's moving, far off to the right. Just a ripple in the dark, like shadows sliding behind a pillar. You can pan in slightly. Nothing there. Did you see another? Don't chase it. There's nothing there. People always see shadows in here, but never a creature. Like I said, the cavern's huge, so there's probably a few creatures lurking around. Now, the next chamber is hot. See the temperature gauge flickering upward on the HUD. Lava pool room? Natural vent. We didn't build this. The floor's full of small pools of bubbling molten rock. There's always a strange presence in this room.
Look up on the ledge near the edge of the lava. That patch of smoke's detaching itself from the rock. It doesn't rise, it doesn't burn, it just moves.
Yeah, you're right. I can see it when he's zoomed in. Never noticed that before. I'll report this after the tour. The cavern's going to widen again now. The deep lake, depth unknown. Point the camera lower, please. See how the light skims the surface.
A ripple, a large one. Something moves beneath the surface, something huge.
Pan out all the way. A shape darker than the water itself glides just below us, displacing the lake in a slow, deliberate arc. The drone's depth scanners are flickering erratically. Don't dip it any lower.
It looks kind of egg-shaped.
That's a very long egg.
I mean, at the end. Oh, damn, did you see that?
What, the eye the size of a tractor wheel? Yeah, I saw it.
Where'd it go?
Who can tell? The lake's over 1 kilometer in diameter and with unknown depth. Let's just move on. Right. The tunnel system you're entering is vast and twisting like a maze. It's a natural formation. We've mapped what we can.
There's a lot of webbing, Henry, layered across the ceiling and walls everywhere, like industrial cable. The strands are as thick as rope.
Guide the drone forward carefully, please.
What is that?
Not sure. Can't tell for the webbing. 10 feet tall, humanoid shape, completely cocooned in silk.
Jesus, it's moving.
Don't linger here. Push forward quickly. Keep going, the webbing is thinning. The tunnel's narrowing. Okay, take this bend and stop.
What the hell is that? It's huge.
That's Pigface. He's been down here since 2012. Marched into a military base and went berserk. Killed 300 soldiers. Bullets don't harm him at all.
How ugly can you get? Thick tusks curling from under a broad, snotty snout. Ram-like horns sweeping back from its skull. A heavy metal ring pierces its nose. Skin mottled gray and scarred. Its eyes look hollow and glowing yellow. That's proper eerie. Why is he so close to the camera?
Get out of here before he...
Oh, did he just...
Yeah, he just wrecked another drone. Nice. That's the third one this week. I was going to say, Pigface is a berserker. He sees, he attacks, that kind of thing. Anyway, that was basically it. You had one of our more eventful tours. You should be pleased. We don't really know what's still alive down there anymore. We log what's seen on the tours, but besides that, it's anyone's guess. There's been everything from demons to dragons, serpents and slimers, chimera and hydra. The worst of the worst, they're all down the pit.
Thanks for that, Henry.
No problem. Anytime you fancy taking another tour, you know where I am.
We've still got a bit of time before the patrol's over. Log your badge before we leave. Good. The pit tours are optional. You can run it on any shift as long as you've got the time and you log it first. Some guards like to keep an eye on what's down there. Some prefer to pretend it doesn't exist. That's entirely up to you. You can just go down, log your badge, and leave. If there isn't a problem, of course. I run it occasionally, out of boredom mostly. I've never seen a problem on 5. Most issues happen on floor 2, besides the vampire incident 3 years ago on floor 4. That was pretty bad. She'd escaped her containment by seducing one of the technicians. Poor sucker was her first victim. She was loose for just 1 hour, and in that time she broke out 2 more inmates, another vampire and a lichen. Together they killed 3 containment teams and 2 staff. That's 38 men in total. All 3 were eliminated eventually, but that was pretty bad. A scuffle on floor 2 or a spillage on 1 is not uncommon, so be prepared for those. But anything beyond that is a rare occasion. Don't worry about it unless it happens, and when it does, I'll be here to guide you through it. All right, here we are, back above ground. Swipe out. Logs you as finished with orientation, means command knows you didn't fall into anything during the tour. Now, patrol schedule. We run hourly routes, full circuit from 1 to 5 and back. Truth is, if nothing's kicking off, you can do it in about 35 minutes. That gives you time for luxuries. Coffee, a sit-down, using the bathroom without something screaming through a door at you. And for now, I'm your senior officer. You follow my lead. You listen when I tell you something, especially your first few weeks till you learn the ropes properly. If you can do that, we'll get on just fine. This sizable room with barely enough room to stretch is standard issue. This one's yours. Get your gear squared away. You seem like a decent person, so I hope you're going to stick around a while. Anyway, next patrol starts in 12 minutes. See you at the lift. Thank you all for watching. Please jazz up that like button. It's immensely important you jazz it up. I don't know why, but it just is. And I hope you'll come back for another tour. Until then, peace.